anytime we talk to an entrepreneur on the podcast, it's always really cool to ask the founder to share more about the challenges that they face, whether it's been in your, along the way in your journey or what you're facing today. There's so much to be learned when we speak honestly and openly about our challenges. I also find in my journey that when I'm facing a challenge, if I have the guts to actually articulate that, I'm usually in a position where once you make your challenges known, the pieces start falling into place, with you being able to solve them. So I'd love, if you're comfortable with it, share a little bit more with our audience about challenges that you face, because to the point you made previously, most people who know you, Sarah Frey, they look at you and think, that girl, she's everything. She's gold. She's got it. She doesn't have a problem. There's no challenges that she's facing today.
I got 99 problems. I promise you that. Yeah. And that, I think we live in a world too, it would be really tough to be a teenager living in today's world where everything on social media is like so perfect and less than perfect. But, Lori, think about what you've done in your business. And I just want to say thank you again for the contribution that you make to our industry. And your work really does impact the lives of so many people across so many different channels in our industry. And I think that, when that surround sound is happening and it's making a difference, it's sort of easy not to recognize where that's coming from. And I think it's important to point out how, once again, how critical your role is in our industry, because we sort of get the halo effect of the work that Lori's out there doing. You're driving sort of innovation as well in our industry, because you're educating consumers, and consumers are starting to do new things and adopt new habits because of the work that you're doing. And we get to be the beneficiary of that, because we ultimately are dealing with a more educated consumer because of your work. And then we're also finding out, we're getting more in tune with what she wants, and we're able to tailor our business and our product offerings to the consumer in a much more effective way. So I like to start with that, and then I'll just end with the challenges. And I'm in agriculture, and you're in agriculture. There are so many things that are completely out of our control in this industry. When you think about the life of a farmer, and how they have to stay optimistic even in the darkest times, it's really quite incredible. And I gave this a lot of thought recently when I was reflecting on the life of a farmer and what keeps them getting out of bed every single day and going out and doing this incredibly difficult job that no one really fully appreciates, understands, or cares about until, there's a global pandemic and there's no food on the shelves, right? Then people are all like, oh, okay, wait, I can't get my favorite brand of this. I can't get that, then there, it seems to be more of an emphasis, like when it's gone, you miss it. But for the most part, farmers really do their work quietly, and they struggle quietly, and they are very persistent people, and they get up every single day without accolades or appreciation and do the hardest work that you can possibly do in the country. And in dealing with, acts of God, watching crops get completely decimated, through no fault of their own. And sometimes that can happen, and it can be man-made, or it could be just a particular weather event, and sometimes it can be a combination of both. And there are these things that are completely out of the farmer's control, and variables that are just for most people, unless you're conditioned to really think like a farmer and have the hope of a farmer and the persistence of a farmer, most people really wouldn't be able to make it. And when you think about, the average income of a farmer is like 40 some $1,000 a year, and their debt, I recently read a statistic, is in the, hundreds of thousands, if not millions. And we've lost so many small family farms, and farmers actually have the highest suicide rate for like the segment of the population. They account for, was it like less than 2%, I believe, of the entire population, and yet they have the highest suicide rate. And I think so much of that is because of sort of the intensity and the risk involved in doing what we do. So we all have to put on this, like, yep, everything is going to be great. And if you're a farmer especially, I mean, you can watch your entire crop get completely obliterated, destroyed. You can watch everything that you've built crumble around you through no fault of your own. And you still have to put a smile on and say, yeah, well, there's always next year. There's always next year. And I think that's what a lot of people don't see, that happens on a near daily basis in my life, and the life of my brothers, of my family. I mean, I talked about social media and how everything looks wonderful and stuff, but that's not it's not real life, and it's not real agriculture. It's not the real challenges that we face. So, and I think there are a lot of people in our industry too, given the nature of our business, the time sensitivity of the products that we sell in the fresh produce industry, that it's a high stress business. But ultimately, we get up every day and we put a smile on our face and we put one foot in front of the other, and to say, we're going to figure it out. But yeah, it can be incredibly, incredibly tough.